there. So I have a message for you titled The Midnight Hour. And the midnight hour is symbolic of the hour of Jesus' return for his church, aka his bride. So in the Bible, Jesus tells many parables comparing things to the kingdom of heaven. And I'm going to talk about the parable of the 10 virgins. So there were 10 virgins that were going to meet their bridegroom. Yes, I know. This was the culture then, to marry many women. So it doesn't mean God was okay with this. This was just the culture, and that is how the Bible, a lot of the Bible was. It was due to the culture of the time. So there were 5 foolish, 5 wise. They all filled their lamps with oil and set out for the journey. When the bridegroom was delayed, they all fell asleep. At midnight, there was a cry, "Here comes the bridegroom, come to meet him." By this time, some of the lamps went out. That was the unwise or foolish virgins. So the foolish virgins asked for oil from the wise to light their lamps. But the wise said, "Go and buy some, or there won't be enough for both." So while they were gone, the bridegroom came, and those who were ready went in with him to the marriage feast, and the door was shut. Later, the unwise virgins returned, saying, "Lord, Lord, open to us." But he answered, "I never knew you. Watch, therefore, for you know neither the day nor the hour of his return." So what does this parable mean? They all had lamps. They all started with oil. They all slept. They all expected the bridegroom. These virgins symbolize all Christians. The only difference was how much oil they had in their lamp. So, 5 were filled with oil. That symbolizes the Holy Spirit. They were watching, waiting, ready. They were abiding. 5 were unprepared. They may have had religion and laws, but they didn't have the relationship with Christ. They were considered lukewarm. So Ephesians 5:8 tells believers to be filled with the Holy Spirit, which is not a one-time event, but a continuous state of being under the influence of the Holy Spirit. It is a command to actively seek and draw upon the Holy Spirit's power and guidance in daily life. So the 10 virgins represent all people who profess faith in Jesus. The bridegroom represents Jesus Christ, the Messiah. The lamp symbolizes the church, which is the light of the world. The oil represents the Holy Spirit, which empowers believers to live a life of faith and obedience. The wise virgins represent those who are prepared for the Lord's return, having a supply of oil, the Holy Spirit, to keep their lamps burning. The foolish virgins represent those who are unprepared, lacking oil, the oil needed to keep their lamps lit when the Lord arrives. The delayed bridegroom represents the long delay between Jesus' first and second coming. The unexpected arrival represents the sudden and unpredictable nature of the second coming. The closed door represents the judgment and exclusion of those who were not prepared. The parable of the 10 virgins, found in Matthew 25, offers several key lessons about spiritual preparation and readiness. Here are 5 central takeaways. 1. The importance of preparedness. The parable emphasizes the necessity of being ready for unexpected challenges and opportunities, just as the wise virgins were prepared with extra oil. 2. Spiritual vigilance. The parable highlights the importance of staying awake, vigilant, not just physically, but spiritually, as the bridegroom's arrival was unexpected. 3. Personal responsibility. Each individual is responsible for their own spiritual preparedness. The wise virgins couldn't share oil, just as faith and readiness cannot be shared. The dangers of delay, number 4. Procrastinating on spiritual preparation can have dire consequences, as the foolish virgins missed the opportunity to enter the wedding feast because they waited too long. Number 5, the urgency of the moment. The parable emphasizes that there is a time when preparation will no longer be possible. The closing of the door reminds us to seize the opportunity to prepare ourselves while it is still available. The parable's main message is to encourage believers to stay awake, watchful, and continue to seek the Holy Spirit's guidance and power. It warns against complacency and the dangers of neglecting spiritual preparation. The parable emphasizes the readiness. That readiness is a personal responsibility, and that we must be diligent in seeking God's presence and maintaining a relationship with Him. So, several years back, I was waking up, half awake, half asleep, having a conversation with the Holy Spirit. And I said, what I remember is saying, I know, at 12 o'clock midnight. And then the voice, the Holy Spirit, responded, no, it's the 11th hour. And so this message, I believe the Holy Spirit was telling me, we are in the 11th hour. So we're in the last hour before Jesus returns. And we don't want to fall asleep like the virgins did. We want to stay awake for the midnight hour. And we have to remember the last line in that parable where Jesus says, I never knew you. And I want to read to you Matthew 7:21. These are words of Jesus again. Not everyone who says to me, Lord, Lord, shall enter the kingdom of heaven, but he who does the will of my Father in heaven. Many will say to me in that day, Lord, Lord, have we not prophesied in your name, cast out demons in your name, and done many wonders in your name? And then I will declare to them, I never knew you. Depart from me, you who practice lawlessness. Therefore, whoever hears these sayings of mine and does them, I will liken them to a wise man who built his house on a rock. Okay, I wasn't supposed to read 24, sorry. So, not everyone who says, Lord, Lord. And that is what scares me, because a person can go to church their entire life and never know Jesus. You have to have a relationship. The light goes out of the lamp. The spirit of grace becomes a critical spirit. What started out as love turns into laws. This is the walk of the Christian life. You must have oil so your light can shine. So, this is a command to actively seek and draw upon the Holy Spirit's power and guidance in daily life. We are in the last hour. The church is failing to make the way straight for Jesus' return because we're so focused on the law of religion more than our own heart's condition and relationship with Him. The care of the oil is the fatal mistake. Many attempt but don't follow through. They start the journey but don't have the supply of oil to keep them going to the end. So I was waking up from a really goofy dream. My husband and I were both buying cars in this dream, which we have needed to for many years. So in this dream, we're trading in our cars, and then all of a sudden I hear, come to the wedding feast. And I woke up. I know this was a message from the Holy Spirit. There is going to be a great wedding feast.